Hi, welcome to Potting. I'm Nicole Carter, and tonight I'm interviewing Victoria McNulty. Hi, Victoria.
Hiya, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? We've just had a wee chat beforehand, as usual, but yeah, as I do with everyone,
Absolutely.
it always feels a bit weird when you press record. It's like, I don't know why. I'm trying to keep it as informal as possible, but I still get nervous, as I said. So, yeah.
Okay,
Anyway,
that's okay.
so if you could tell us a wee bit about yourself, please.
So I'm a writer, mostly a poet, and performer based in the East End of Glasgow. I do a lot of kind of community sort of arts work. Um, Write a lot sort of about like working class history, just about power in the area, and I'm really interested in sort of mythology and things like that as well.
Cool. Yeah. Mythology. Yeah. Have you heard of Georgia Bartlett McNeil?
Uh-huh, yeah.
She did a poem about Persephone. If Persephone was ugly, because she's reading a book about Greek mythology. So yeah, that's interesting that it's kind of, you know, um a thing to do. I think that's really cool to kind of actually look at mythology and yeah, do things with it basically in writing
Yeah,
and sort of reinvent it almost. Um,
absolutely.
okay, so yeah, if you could read us some of your work, please.
Yeah, sure. The first poem I'm going to read's still untitled. Um, I live across from, I think it's the only peat bog in Glasgow now. And I've been thinking a lot about it and sort of writing about it. It's got a wee bit of a sort of mystical, sometimes quite scary quality when it comes to night time. So I've been kind of, it's probably a bit dark, this poem.
Okay.
A murmur of starlings panhandles grubs, gloom spotted on clump mown grass, derelict at the border of the bog. They are dotted pinprick wormholes born at the city boundary, blackheads on its pocked face. They whoosh with a dog bark, a rhythmic fluttering on high alert, take refuge on a blue electricity line. They face a brutal pebble dash across the road and wait for a closed door to open and this whole rigmarole to start again. The first people to come here carried their curragh shoulder borne above a bubbling sentient bung. They made a beaten hearth at the centre of the loch, the smell of peat and moss buried seeds anointing each household. Fragments were thrown into the fen in appeasement, and with every shard and shattered part they opened their heart, they let her live, and then she allowed them to stay. And then when the monks came, they tamed her edges, they cut her into wheat fields, they sculpted her spine into mines and an abbey wall. Tall settlements sprung in devotion, not to her, but Mungo, who drank from the waterway and sucked the lifeblood and became a growing city's son. And then it begun. By dark, novices would walk into the bog, barefoot, and never return. Today, a box-built settlement looks from the hillside, the tut-tutting, yummy mummies and tie-clad dads, an opposite house and scheme now hangs its head in shame. Each muted remorse murmured anger through the floorboards, made its way down the generation of damped out bricks, traversing the strewn back courts where the washing is now stopped beating. It seeped to separate each and every embrace. We locked our doors again, kept the lights on, fear growing from the darkness of the trees to the neighbours and then the marsh beyond, because a body was pulled from a face down pool. A missing baby, buzz cut and bear gauze clad. The police dragged him by his ankles and then blamed it on misadventure. The bog has taken yet another mammy's boy, another reason for living gone, and only the moss knows what's happened to him, and the starlings will never return.
Wow. Ooh, powerful. Have you got anything else that you'd like to share?
I'm trying to think if I've got something a bit more upbeat than that. Sorry.
No, not at all. Don't apologise. No crumbs. That's what poetry's about. It's about saying something, you know. And
Okay.
your poetry obviously says something, you know.
Okay. So I can. I've got a smaller poem I wrote. I was part of a Outriders at Edinburgh Book Festival in 2022 now,
Okay.
and part of it, the project I was going over to Ireland to trace my family's history, and I became really like kind of bogged down in this sort of maybe farming history of the area that I was going to. And one of the things I remembered was a song by Ronnie Drew called The Dunes that talked about how during the Great Hunger, there was so many dead, they ran out of graves and buried them in the sand dunes. And then one night, the kind of protagonist, he gets drunk, and they all kind of rise from the grave and murder the landlord. The song's brilliant. I think it was written by Shane McGowan, actually.
All right, from the
Um,
Pogues.
yeah, yeah. But it kind of just stuck in my head, and I'd went to Iona just before I was going. Me and my son and his wee friend went camping, and I was sort of just watching him on the sand and thinking about it, and this is what kind of came about. You look peaceful on white sand, where your wind-warmed hands stand static, stalactite, a wee fist raised to fight the solar rays that poke form from behind that dusk cloud. Your knuckles are pink as you pick for treasure, senses pricked by the shoreline, my Caledonian child. And as we dig through time to sand dunes and the wind now whistles hunger tunes, I see ruins on the horizon where a million steamships sailed out to sea. 'Cause their bodies pile high in you and me, my son. And as you scour for sea glass, I'm forever digging your bones in my mindscape.
Mhm. Oof. Yes. Powerful again. Thank you. Okay, so where can we hear you recite?
Uh, I have a gig in McNeil's in Govan Hill in August. But mostly I haven't been performing as much just now, hoping to get back to kind of doing more regular nights and things in Glasgow. So hopefully just around at the moment.
Cool. And can we buy your work anywhere?
Yeah, yeah, I have copies of both my collections. I've got copies of Confessionals and Exiles. So if anybody wants to send me a wee message on Instagram, I can get them posted out to you at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, dokie. And your poetry plans for the next wee while?
Um, Yeah, I'm really lucky. I'm working on a project with Art Riot Press, which is a new independent press that's just opened in Glasgow, for release in 2027. So at the moment, I'm writing a collection for them. It's about the kind of history of housing and immigration in Glasgow and how that kind of loops back into like creating issues within communities and kind of maybe the purpose of some of these issues. So um, actually the first poem I read today I'm hoping will be part of that collection. Yeah.
Nice one. And what socials are you on?
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Substack, although I don't use it as much as I maybe should, but you can certainly, you're free to follow me there. And I have a Blue Sky account also that I'm particularly lazy about. So if you want to find my work, Instagram's probably the place to do it.
Cool. And so that's your Instagram handle is
Victoria McNulty Poetry.
right. Okay, cool. And I'll tag that as well on Instagram when I post the video. Well, thanks very much, Victoria. It's been a pleasure to chat. And yeah, I'll hopefully see you perform it somewhere sometime soon.
Okay, no worries.
Thanks very much. Bye, folks.
Bye.